So the other night I was driving a little harder than I usually do and my brake pad warning light came on. And so in this video we're going to be inspecting the sensors. We're also going to be taking a look at the brakes to see if they do in fact need to be changed. On preliminary inspection, yes, we absolutely are going to be doing a brake job today. Here's the thing though. This is probably one of the easiest jobs we can do on our cars. It's literally slide something out, slide something in, and we're done. 5 minutes and it shouldn't cost us barely anything. So don't take it to a mechanic. Let's do this together here now. Taking the pads out is actually pretty straightforward. There's not a huge amount to it. The only thing we have to be careful of is our sensor. It's when we are reinstalling that there's a little bit of nuance, but we'll get into it as we're going along. So where do we begin? Well, we begin at the back. And here at the back is a spring-loaded bracket that is holding the sensor in. This bracket is also held in place by these two pins. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, at the end of each of these pins is a small hole, and this bracket fits into that and is held in place as a result. Once this bracket is off, then we can simply pull these pins through. This spring-loaded element over here comes out, and then we are quite literally just pulling out the brake pads. Oh, I was wrong about that hole, by the way. In this instance, there are some split pins in that hole that are holding mine in place. So there's the split pin. It's pointing down. It's silly that it's pointing down. There we go. Split pin. And then I can actually come here. I need a punch and a hammer. With that out the way, let's take a look at what these brake pads look like. And oh man, I'm amazed that this sensor didn't go off a long time ago because there's almost zero material left here, almost nothing. It's almost down to the metal. Well, I'll show you what it looks like when we get it out. And in order to get it out, we grab one of these. And what we're going to do is we're just going to grab on the top or the outside of this caliper over here and then onto the brake pad itself, and ever so gently, quite gently in fact, we're going to be pushing the piston back into its bore, the brake piston. And as we do it, we need to be aware of our reservoir because of course this is a brake system, and so there is going to be fluid that is being pushed back, and we don't want it to overflow there, so just keep an eye on that. Okay, here we go. What we do want to do is we want to try and get it in as far as we possibly can. And the reason for that is because when we put the new meaty brake pad on, it's not going to help if we've just got enough space to slide the old one out. There we go. Yeah, good. Great. Great. We're very close. So let's grab this. Now usually the one at the back has the sensor on, but the sensor has come off. So let's just see. And there it is. And look at this. Look at how worn this thing is. Okay, let's get the second one out. So the caliper is made up of two different units, and so what we need is we need this lower unit which does a little bit of the squeezing to come open so that we can get the other brake pad out. We just simply do this. There we go. A little bit more of that is needed. And there's the pad. This one's not as worn, but I mean, millimeters that we have to play with here, but still absolutely in need of replacing. All right, that's enough inspecting. Let's get my new brake pads, but where are they? Oh, here we go. Now, I'm not affiliated with this brand at all, but I thought I'd give them a mention because I was told that they are really good quality and the OEM versions are so expensive and these were so affordable that I just wanted to mention them. This is a TRW GDB309. I think the sub-brand here is Kotek. The OEM versions were going to cost me about 2,500 Rand, where these came in at 600 Rand. And on the box here, we also see Porsche 924, Porsche 928, and under that sticker, Porsche 944. So any of you that are looking for what I'm told is a high quality set of brake pads that aren't going to break the bank, that aren't OEM, here we have them. Okay. Looking good here. If we do a comparison, this is the old, that's the new. Definitely needing to be replaced. What also needs to be replaced is this disc. I think Americans call it a rotor. The surface is really bad, there's a big lip, but that's a job for another day. Let's see how this fits here. And then we'll put some copper grease on. And then it's quite literally just reverse order, putting the pins in, the different retaining springs and so on. And then we're done. It really is that simple. Just a very light coating. All right, now that we are copper greased up, one of those nuances. Here's the next one, and that is this little gap right over here. It fits over a notch right in here, just to make sure that everything is placed exactly where it needs to be. So let's get this in there. There we go. Okay, now the pins are nicely aligned, the pin holes at the very least. We'd probably want to put a little bit of copper grease on here too, but we're not going to do it right now. We'll give it a clean up when we come in for the discs, the rotors. Okay, so that's nicely lined up. Now we have to shift everything across, because otherwise the other one won't fit. There we go, nicely done. Okay, let's get that piston in. No overflowing. And that brings me to the third nuance. There are markings on this piston, and from the factory they are supposed to be at a particular angle. Now I don't have a protractor here. I don't have right tools to measure exactly what that angle is, but I'm going to eyeball it, and it's about 20 degrees. So I need a light. We need a light. Okay, so there's a mark, and there's a mark, and that looks pretty good. 20 degrees down, not up, but I think that's okay. I'm not 100% sure, but again, we're going to come back in here for these, so I'll make that change. But it's one of those little things that we ought to know about, and so now you do. Right, let's get this brake pad in. All right, now we have our copper grease. Now we just need to get our sensor into its little spot here, and at the same time try and get this in. I would expect that would be something like that. There's this little notch in here somewhere. Come on. There we go. That's one part of it. 2. Retaining split pin in. And with that, we're done. Well, at least this side is done. We still have the other side to still do. This sensor is hovering about a little bit here. I'm not 100% sure what to do about that. If one of you happens to know, please leave a comment down below for the rest of us so we know how to deal with this. A quick word about the NA versus turbo brakes. Yes, the turbo brakes are slightly larger and of course for good reason, but the process to change out brake pads is almost exactly the same. And that brings us to the end of this video. I'm going to do the other side. You can stick around and watch those highlights if you want. But all the best as you do your own brakes. It certainly doesn't have to cost a lot, and it definitely doesn't take a lot of time. I'll see you in the next video.